I would like to presentation about population related to biodiversity preservation in Indonesia. But my visiting today, I would like to learn many things from the University of Washington, and also I would like to bring close collaboration and also strengthen partnership for the future. Right. The title will present population growth rate and infrastructure development as a threat to biodiversity preservation in Indonesia. A case study in Central Sulawesi. Indonesia is the fourth biggest population in the world after China People's Republic, your country. The second, India. The third, United States of America. And the last, Indonesia, our country. Population for the one side, it is the social capital for our country. But the other hand, this is the problem if the government difficult to fulfill the what kind of the need to support their life. As a rector, many questions from our students, particularly the environment activists. So why the government policy tend to damage of the natural resources, particularly the biodiversity? I think this is the difficult question and cannot find a good answer about this question. But if you try to look at this problem from the society or from the people, they have the high expectation. But the other hand, the government faces a big obstacle to fulfill the people's expectation. And then, if you look at the population, I mean the population growth rate in Indonesia, average 1.49% per year. If the government difficult to control, to reduce the growth rate population, I think 10 or 20 times later, this treat, the big treat for the natural resources in Indonesia. You can see from the 1930 until 2010, the increasing of the population in Indonesia, I think, like the style and modern increasing in some country in the world. Especially in Central Sulawesi, is higher growth rate population, 1.95% per year. You can see the many planning, long-term planning in Indonesia. I mean the central government. This is the current situation. The government tried to divide it in two big zones in Indonesia: the west zone and the east zone. West zone including from Sumatra until Java Island, and from Kalimantan until to Papua Island is the eastern area in Indonesia. If you look at from the west to east zone, the infrastructure progress tend to decrease if you compare the western area. According to the President instruction at 2010, the government tried to make equitable development between western area and eastern area. That's mean the government tried to raise the black line to be red line. The question, how about the impact to the natural resources? If the government program like to move going up from the black line to red line, this is the serious threat to the preservation of biodiversity for a long time. According to my mention before, that the Indonesian labor force reached more than 50% from the whole population in Indonesia. And 2014 is expected to increase to be 100 million people. Most of them, 43.9 million, as primary school educated workers. That's mean difficult to take a good job to fulfill their life. The question is, when they take a job, I think the natural resource is the one source for fulfill their life for a long time. For a long time. You can see, this is the main dilemma for Indonesia government. So even though the labor force as a source of human resources for the future of Indonesia to support development, but all of them require of supporting their life, including some infrastructure. So relation between biodiversity and people, particularly in Indonesia, I think like the other country in the world, like South America, Africa, and India. So some place on the earth with of the greatest biodiversity, according to Jeffrey et al. But it also saw the greatest density and fastest rate of growth of people, like Indonesia. So if government cannot make a good control to reduce growth rate population, but I think this is dangerous for the natural resources in Indonesia, particularly in eastern of Indonesia. Human population growth and the problem of biodiversity in Indonesia. So human population has increased at an almost exponential rate, but this is difficult to fulfill need for them. An increase in human population growth increase the need for natural resources to supply the basic needs of the population. When they can take about that, from the land, from the forestry, from the sea or ocean. So, if they need food, infrastructure, and other resources, I think land is the particular, is a main source of that. So, you can see from this picture, because I am from the soil science, I try to make relation between land transformation and loss of a biological diversity. Is land transformation caused by land clearing, forestry, deforestation, grazing, and intensification for rice fields, palm oil plantation. I think extinction of species and population loss of ecosystems. This is the main relation between land transformation. I think the close relation our education background. Who responsible about that? Yeah, I think all of us, so from government until to all people in Indonesia. How the central government to overcome this condition? Yeah, I try to divide it in the first housing infrastructure need, schooling infrastructure, transportation infrastructure need. To fulfill the food need for the people, the government tried to expanding the area of oil palm plantation. And the second one, exploitation mining area. So if the people now, the surrounding of the forestry, for example, the content of the gold, I think this is the threat for the natural resources. If the government try to increase capacity, knowledge of the people, particularly the labor force, I think the government should be prepared in the schooling infrastructure. Schooling infrastructure, building, that means need space. If space, transformation land from the rice field to schooling infrastructure, that means to fulfill food from the rice field tend to decrease area. I think directly to effect reducing of the availability of food for the people. From this slide, you can see that how it can be obtained, particularly changing of the land use system. Yeah. Before I say that agriculture and forestry area would be used as a site for school building, transportation infrastructure, and also for mining sites, including palm oil plantation. All of these, if the government difficult to control, I think this is the main threat for the biodiversity, particularly preservation for the future. How about the mine? From the data, in Central Sulawesi province, more than 60% the land of this area has been dominated by mining investors. Deforestation rate reached 18.8 hectares per hour, and try to estimate the economic losses due to natural disaster reach 79.1 million per year. If you look at this picture, I think this is the result from the forestation activity in the national park. I mean, Lorelindu National Park. I think Masen is happy. Yeah. This is the result from the forestation. The next, the appreciation due to change in wetland function of 37.2% and 32.4% of mangrove. Mangrove forest area was reduced from 5.2 million hectares in 1982 to 2 million hectares in 1987 and shrank again to 2.4 million hectares in 1993 due to rampant conversion of mangrove into cultivation area, including palm oil plantation. How about the mining activity in Central Sulawesi? From the 10 regencies and city of the Central Sulawesi have potential mining resources, gold, sand, and gravel. So from this activity, you can see that for the old regency, the old government have autonomy to issue licensing to the investor. The central government difficult to control and indirectly to make decision for them. So depend on the mayor or head of the district. If we can call Bupati. If Bupati want issue the license for the investor, the mining area, yeah, depend on them. But for the long time, I think this is the threat for the biodiversity in Indonesia, particularly in eastern of Indonesia. You can look in this picture. So this is the gravel and sand mining, quite close from our campus, only 5 or 10 kilometers to western area in Donggala Regency. So this car to take the raw material from this area, the natural area, and I think this is dangerous if the government, local government, provincial government can to stop this activity for a long time. So sand and gravel mining in Palu and Donggala, I think, yeah, make a degradation of the land and also the forestry surrounding this central activity for mining. Their mining activity in some place in Central Sulawesi, one of them located in Boboya. Gold mining, I think so, many negative impact to the land resources surrounding the central activity. So this is the threat to the preservation of biodiversity. All of the water contain of the high concentration of the mercury. Gold mining of Boboya, I think this is area before it's natural resources, the forestry, the conservation area, but the people who use the traditional approach to taking raw material from this area, I think you can see the negative impact. So from the forestry to be land unusual for the agriculture, for forestry, but only for gold mining. This is the place to collect some raw material. The traditional, this is the heavy equipment. Even though the corporate using the heavy equipment, but the similar impact and traditional activities. Why? Because all of them, to discard the natural resources, particularly in land resources. According to the recent collaboration between our university and 3 universities in Japan. They are collected some data. The area, the sediment, the water in the air, I think tend to increase content of the mercury in the water, land, and I think they have the negative impact to the ecosystem. And within this ecosystem, I think many species is a part of biodiversity. You can see the different area, I mean the different land use. Grassland, livestock area, river sediment, maize and peanut wrapping, where river sediment, where river sediment, paddy area, coconut plantation, cocoa plantation, grassland and settlement. The all of the higher if we compare the normal range in ppm mercury in the air. The question are how to reduce deforestation rate in Indonesia, particularly in central Sulawesi. And the second one, how to control land degradation. And the next, how to minimize changing of the land use. The answer is depend on the great commitment of the government, start from the central government until provincial government in central Sulawesi. And the second one, it's take a strong role to control, to protecting some activities. And the next, how to involve the community surrounding the forest in the mining area. I think the Center Global Field Study, the University of Washington, through the Prof. Involving the community to learn the ecosystem is one reason to protect, to increase knowledge about why the important to preservation biodiversity in Indonesia. If commitment and strong rule and involving the community, I believe that biodiversity conservation can be achieved in the future, not only in Indonesia and Central Sulawesi, but across country, including in United States of America. I think it's my presentation. Thank you very much. Because the government needs some funding from the investor, even though the government now, the dangerous, the changing of the land, danger for the human. But yeah, you can see day to day for the changing of the natural condition. So how about the people surrounding this area? All of them, the poverty condition, need for food, need to build for housing, and need funding or money to support their children to take science from the university and higher school. I think all of this is dilemma. One side, they know that the old activity have negative impact to preservation biodiversity, including environmental surrounding where they stay. But the other hand, they are need to support some money to take, to buy food, toilet, and to support the children in school and university. This is the big problem. Why? Because the Indonesia is a developing country. So yeah, try to looking for how to manage the natural resources and also how to make, yeah, to build infrastructure, because many places in Indonesia, even though they close between one area each other, but difficult to meet. Yeah, I think you have experience from the one place to another place to taking some the data you research, but unsupport about the transportation infrastructure. This is dilemma for our country as a developing country. I think for the future, yeah, for the next generation, the next government, yeah. So yeah, we hope we can find the new generation to be a leader in Indonesia for the all level, start from the president, governor, mayor, and also rector, for example. Yeah. So how to make collaboration between the government and the higher education institution. So in Indonesia, even though many data from the result of research related to dangers about this activity, but this cannot to stop the government policy.
Environmental Protection Agency, EPA. We have, the United States has the EPA, Environmental Protection Agency, it's a federal agency.
Yeah. So actually, we have one ministry over there, and all of them now about the environment. Ministry of Environment actually every year issued the regulation about that. But once again, the mayor, I mean the head of the agency, has full autonomy to issue license of mining activity. This is the problem. So even though if you look at the hierarchy from the minister into the mayor, I think it's very long. This ministry located in the central government, mayor or head of the regency, yeah, low position if you compare the central government. But this is the command indirect to the mayor or head of the regency leader. This is the problem.
Or do they feel they have the leverage to require some kind of environmental impact statement, or to require the outside companies that are coming in and doing the mining to do any sort of follow-up once the mine has been depleted? Because a lot of the problems are after the mining's done, then the outside company just says, yay, we're done, and then they just leave, right? And then the country, Indonesia's left with this thing that's left over. So do they make any sort of agreement, or do they have power?
Perfect solution that will take care of the problems all over Indonesia or all over the world, or will it be different kinds of techniques or solutions? Maybe they work here, but they don't work there.
Yeah.
You know, how do we approach it?
Actually, they have ruled through the regulation, but unintegrated management. So, for one side, the government tried to provide what the people need. But the other hand, the activity to fulfill the people's need has a great negative impact to the natural resources, including ecosystem and biodiversity.